Hi, it's me, I Get Real. This is a different day. I'm not, I don't have a video camera, and all my videos are on my computer, through the computer camera right here. I made the video series yesterday, I believe. I should have put the date in the numbers. Homeless bum becomes primary care physician, still lives in poverty on raw food diet. This is, how do I say this? This is a recap. I wasn't going to film until 12 because I needed to do some eBay stuff and organize some stuff. And I basically right now, I'm going to get my train. Oh, God. I took my daughter to work earlier and I wanted to go to my noon groups. There's two. Usually I work with her, or I don't because I told you I have hardly any hours. So I just, anyway, I'm all over the place here. I'm eating my homemade chocolates that have, what did I put in there? Some herbs, Chinese herbs, South American herbs, and then my regular stuff. And I have a lot of herbs in my cabinets. And when I started my business, I was on a shoestring budget. I have a naturopath medical clinic. And I bought a bunch of stuff that I use. And I bought some stuff to use for the clinic. And I bought some stuff to use for doula and midwifery, which were coming. The certificates and license were. I did the classes and the stuff. I just needed to do the paperwork for both. I did the doula. I didn't do the midwifery, which I need to do pretty daggone quick. To tell you the truth, I have an attitude problem. I don't want to work. I want to work, and then when I get distracted by life on life terms, like people are doing Medicare applications. I have like Medicaid application, like stuff like that. Proof of income. Do this. Do this. I was trying to set up a life insurance policy. Oh, that's a different one. And I was trying to set up a life insurance policy, and then I was trying to set up a retirement account. I did one through the government. It shut down. I forgot I could still be saving. I didn't even think about that. I should have thrown some money in there and invested it even for a few months because you get a monthly average. I totally didn't think of it. I don't really have extra money, but I tried to open two other retirement accounts, one through my part-time job and one through one of my insurance companies, and I couldn't. One of them, they're like, you have to wait till January, and the other one is like, well, you set up the wrong account. I called because I went to finalize it, and it wouldn't finalize it online. And then the money, it was like $50 a month or $500. And at the time, like 2-3 months ago, I was going to pull up $500. Now I don't have $500 to open the account. And it sucks. But so I keep getting these letters from the government saying, we phase this out, move it into another retirement account. If I had another retirement account in the first place for people that are low income, I would have had all my money there and I would have had that. Like, that was the point, and I guess Obama had put that in, of people that were not having job, retirement, or Roth IRAs, or enough money to throw down $500 to $1,000 to open an account plus $50 a month. I don't have that kind of cash. But trickling in money here and there and letting it improve with interest as I'm over 40 sounded like an awesome thing to do. And I'm really disappointed because it was set up for low-income people. And I think the maximum was $13,000, which a lot of people would, like, for my profession, the way that I work and the number of years I have had a clinic, a lot of people in my position make like, they could throw down $13,000 a month, like, into an account if they, or buy a car for cash. Like, they make enough money that they net so much that they technically could. I don't know technically about taxes being taken out of that large income, but I've barely made that in a year. I did one time in a year, and that was working as a lab assistant part-time, and that's the only time. That was 1 year of my life. So I'm hustling here, and I'm making the video because I I had homeless bum becomes primary care physician still living on poverty on raw food diet recap. And I was going to say, I'll say recap 11/4/17, 11:35-ish a.m. And I still say I'm single and I'm hopeful. And when I made the long videos, I had 1, 2, and a 3, and a little bit of a recap that was like just saying what I was who I am as a person, and I talked a little bit more about being a single mom. And now I'm looking at my videos from yesterday, and I'm really confused, so I'm not even posting them right now. I might do it later, but they're super long. So right now I have an inspection because I'm on welfare and I have Section 8 inspection, and I have a bunch of new patients trying to come to my clinic. Last round, the 2 rounds of inspections with new management, I missed new patient appointments. I missed their phone calls at the office because I was so busy. I had a pair of scissors. I have 2 pairs like this. I had the other pair like this. There's part of my purse that keeps falling apart, and I'm just going to throw it away. I should glue it back on. I literally took those. These are dull, and the other ones are probably more dull. And I cut blackberry bushes, ivy, and grass with these scissors in a yard. And they tell you if you don't get it done, you will get evicted. And I was out there for 2 weeks in the sun and the rain, cutting my yard with that and moving my flower pots around and hoping that rats don't come out and bite me. And I had no weed whacker. No, I had a push more thing, but the grass is like this, or you have just weeds, or like a manual mower. It doesn't work. I used that a few times, and it broke my heart because my daughter loves like wildflowers and Queen Anne's lace and the little peas, the purple and pink little flowers, and it's like basically considered a weed. Our yard was redone. I redid my whole yard in organic soil and seeds. They said they would do it when I moved in because it was all weeds, and then they're trying to write a notice on my door that your yard is weeds. I was like, it was weeds when I moved in. So they're like they're like, oh, we're gonna fix your yard and give you grass seeds and stuff, and they never did. Like, we don't want to do it yourself and build a garden. And I was like, fine. And then I went to go build a garden, and the new manager was like, no, you're not building a garden. People tear up the grass. I was like, tear up the grass. There's no grass. It's mud because my organic lawn disappeared when they did remodel. So I live in this jump how high society. I live in this, oh my God, you're going to be penalized because we didn't, like, people claim they send letters or put stuff on our door. There'll be like, reminder, we're having inspection tomorrow and the owners are coming. And you're like, reminder, you never told us in the first place. Like, the manager was like freaking out. Like, this lady gets in people's faces and she's really racist and it's really bad. And like, I want to avoid her like the plague. And I let this racist lady make me afraid of who I am. So I have a bunch of stuff I have to relist online. I watched Craigslist Hunter video yesterday, and it says, who are you? I want to know what type of, what the heck is this crap? I have, sorry, I'm so rude. I'm like so rude. I got pictures on my mail, and it takes away the element of surprise, but then I get all paranoid when I see stuff. I work my clinic a lot through government institutions, and my licensing is through government, so I get a lot of stuff from the government, and I get weirded out about, oh my God, because as a child, I behaved, but I got in trouble all the time, and I got beaten all the time in the middle of the night. And when I got in a car accident in 2014, right after I graduated, took my for my naturopathic license, I had the national boards, which is 2 board exams, and I had just taken that, and I don't know if I was waiting for the results or if I got the results, but I passed. But I was back in school for midwifery, which is a different certificate and license through the state, and a 3rd board exam on top of the other 2. So you can't have that separate through through that program. I don't know about regular midwifery schools. You can be a midwife and like I'm not talking about nursing midwife. I'm talking about like certified midwife. I think I'm talking about certified midwife. That's a different school, but I don't know the fine print, but like I don't believe, like, well, I would have 2 separate licenses, so I can do primary care, all ages, and birthing, and neonatal and stuff like that, and conception help and stuff like that. I don't know my naturopath license on actual, like, helping people with fertility and doing literal physical things to get them pregnant. We learned it in school, and I wasn't tested on it, which is really, there's some things that are just straight up old fashioned, and they're not necessarily, well, that was crazy. That was really loud. I gotta fix that. So I'm making a list today. I'm gonna put today's time. I wrote on Craigslist Hunter, because I like watching his videos. I keep putting PM. That he wanted to know who everyone was, and I said an impoverished doctor who's a single mom selling items personal, because most people are resellers full-time. Some people said they're part-time resellers on a full-time income, and kind of like a bunch of braggarts. Some people were like 60, 70 selling on eBay after retirement. Some people have been selling on eBay for many years, older folks, because they were concerned. Some people were concerned that they were saying that some people were like 40 and 50 and were scared to be online. But I was thinking, as a 41-year-old, my relative that's my 2 relatives that are in their mid-70s were computer programmers in the 70s. So that's their niche in life, is when they were in their 20s, I guess 20s and young 30s, they were making computers. They were geeks. So I get weird about that. But I remember on my other side of my family, my grandma was terrified of computers and refused to use a computer, and my mom's like, she made her come to my house, sit down on a computer, and type a letter or something, a paragraph, and print it out. Like, my mom's like, you're not going to die without touching a computer and doing something. And I thought, oh, like, she doesn't have to. She was basically terrified. And I was watching this guy having all the typewriters. We used to have one. I threw it out. I had the ink cartridge and everything, like extra one. It was like, I'm kicking myself. I didn't even try to give it to Goodwill. I should have shoved it in the back of my car. We had an inspection. I should have shoved it in the back of my car. That definitely was a big oops. But once it's in the dumpster, it's gone, or somebody else maybe pulled it out. But once it's not really gone when it's in the landfill, but it is. So we're gonna say new seasons. Haul. I'm eating food that I'm still allergic to, and my throat is like closing up. I was really embarrassed, but I woke up this morning and I think I had a dream about my daughter's shirt, and it was like used. It was like a same, but second, I'll say used for sale. And then I had a dream about my acting teacher in showbiz. I don't know what it was, but I just faintly remember this. I had pulled out the books. He told me to find a monologue. Last night I pulled the books out, and I have my flour, one of my favorite grocery bags. I wiped it down with a wipe, and I'm starting to put eBay stuff in there because it's plastic, and I don't, people use those IKEA bags and stuff. So basically, I woke up thinking of what I typed last night, and it's really embarrassing to say I'm a very impoverished doctor. And due to, like, say so I left my ex-husband. I was married for 10 years. I got married before I had kids, and my kids are have the same dad. And people keep saying, what the heck's up? When my daughter shows pictures of her and her brother, they're like, oh my God, you guys they don't look like alike. They don't look alike. Like, but their features are, my daughter is more dark, and my son is more light. But my son's hair texture is like mine, and my daughter's is more like her dad's. Like, it's kind of, like, the coloring is like one, and the features are like the other parent. It's very interesting. But everyone is so surprised. But I know a lot of people my daughter's age who the parents weren't married, or they had multiple husbands or multiple boyfriends and different kids in that generation when that stuff started being more open. and prior, like, to my age group, like 40s and 50-year-olds that have 20-year-olds or teens, stuff was kind of hush hush if they were married or divorced. A lot of people in the U.S. were so-called Christians or Catholics. So if there was Christians that were like feeling guilty about marriage or divorce or having kids out of wedlock or having cheating, the milkman's baby, it was kind of hush hush, like so what, my kid is black. It's like it's just the way the genes work. People have this kind of like whatever, um, call the midwife. Like, so what, my baby's black, and everyone in the room is looking around. The dad is like, my beautiful. It's like, wait, both the parents are white, but it happens. You saw the twins come out, one white and one black. That's how my kids came, and it's really sad to be put in a box of your welfare mom, your scum, you don't work. I share meetings that I'm impoverished and that it's a trigger and I don't want to drink over it. And that if I have to sit under the Burnside Bridge and get woke up by the cops at 6 a.m. because they got to clear it out for when the working people come downtown in their fancy clothes and fancy cars and fancy hairstyles. So I'm one of those people that worked my way out of homelessness, but I didn't really ever become self-sufficient. And I've signed up for every self-sufficiency program that I could, and I've been told many times I don't qualify. One of the big not qualifiers is my education level, and it's not in the fine print. If you have a graduate level degree, we won't accept you. What it is you get assigned a counselor, and they ask you some personal questions, or you fill out the application online, and they pull it up on the computer, and they ask your skills and what kind of licenses you have, food handlers and a DEA, and this and education. And it's like I can't even put all my education, and I can't get the jobs in my field, but you run out of space to do the jobs, to write the jobs that I got. The jobs I went in my field, if I got those jobs and was being paid as employee or paid as employee, or I could work my business and really focus on it for like quadruple amount of time I'm spending on it now for the back office work, I would have, how do you say this? I would have enough money to start paying my loans off better and quickly, and to save for the future, retirement, all of that stuff, pay the taxes, of course. And the jobs that I had when in the 90s, I can say they were asking me to work in the grocery store, and they're like, do you have anything with food service? I was like, they're like, oh wait, you work food service here, and I told them like, oh, I have food handlers, I have OLCs, yeah. It's like, we don't need all of that stuff. It's like, fine. And I was like, well, I also used to work in the cafeteria when I was in college. Like, there you go. And I was like, they don't know that I'm over 40, so they're like, I'm not. Obviously, that was like 20 something years ago, like back in 1994, 95, and I did housekeeping 95. And I would actually try to do housekeeping. My friend was working. I don't know if she was working housekeeping, but they were students. I would say kids were cleaning the dorms, the hallways, vacuuming, sweeping, mopping. And me and my roommate went in to get a job. She was white, tall, skinny, had long, shiny dark hair, and I was just this like little rich girl, black girl with braids, who just similar to what I do now in old clothes. I don't know why. I have this thing about like I've never done this really, like since I was a really small kid, where I went out to a store and said, oh, I have this job as a dress code, or I have school, and we had dress codes when I was in school, like no shorts, no this, blah, blah, blah. And I've never gone and got a wardrobe for the season with a coat or jacket to match and a hat or whatever, a scarf, whatever you need. I've never gone out and got the matching shirts, sweaters, shoes. When I was a kid, I did sometimes, but we had very limited stores. So I've never really gotten brand new stuff where, like, I did when I was a kid but it was all from the BX. So it was basically, if it fits, you buy it because you have like a couple racks of your size, and the style is whatever they choose. It's not like you go and, like, we live in a city now, so you can go to a store and see all these different styles inside of stores, and like at Kohl's. And then of course when I do stuff like that, it used to be Marshalls, Clarence, Marshalls, and Ross, but now that is too much money for me. Goodwill, too much money, but unique. So I have a problem with always needing to wear something really raggedy, really old, or really used. And I used to get really sweaty armpits from used clothes, like I was reacting to their sweat and deodorant and detergent. And it was really bad. It was a really severe reaction that caused my sweat to smell really strongly, especially during menses. And this one lady was like, "You need to stop wearing deodorant." I was just like, and I'd be doing like detox cleanses, and I was like, wow, I eat onions, I eat garlic, and I'm detox cleansing, and I'm reacting to used clothes. So for a while, I had to do online shopping for um, new clothes and clearance. And basically, it was knit tops, like t-shirts and um, long sleeve t-shirts with patterns on them. So it was kind of sad to it was because of the reaction with the sweat, um, with the other person's sweat. But I have thought about how I wanted to dress. My son was watching alien movies, a guy that would kind of look like a homeless person. He was like an alien though, and I go, oh my god. I'm thinking in my mind, I really like the way this guy dresses. I'm like, oh my god, he looks like a bum. And I said, why do I have the same clothing style as this guy? And my son's like, it's because you're a bum, Mom. And I was like, yeah, you're really funny. Because I have been a homeless bum where I had no clothes. I had like a small duffel bag full of clothes. Somebody stole most of my clothes when I was at a hotel washing them. So once in a while we'd get a hotel. I actually got stranded. I left my Jeep and lost my tent and my sleeping bags in a flash flood in Pikeville, Kentucky. It was actually near Lexington, but I ended up in Pikeville, Kentucky because we hitchhiked out of there. We had cats, two cats, a cat on our head and a dog that swam across water that was up to here in flash flood. Um, and when I see floods from storms and flash flooding and people getting injured in their cars, I had been involved in at least two flash floods, one in Kentucky, one in West Virginia. And when West Virginia one, my daughter was an infant and she was in her car seat, and we had to walk out, and the car got flooded, and then we thought it was destroyed. We had to get towed. And we knocked on doors for hours. Nobody would let us use a phone. And we were stranded like an hour and a half from home or something like that. I don't know, maybe it was like an hour. And it was so scary. And it was night. I think we had an old cell phone. I think you just had to plug those in all the time. I don't think you could charge them. I don't know. Like one of those really big ones with the antenna that comes out. And because that was in the 90s or early 2000, 00, Y2K. And we had at least one flash flood here. I've driven through, like, it's not like a viaduct, but I've driven through flooding here when my kids had, this is one thing I don't like about modern society, mandatory attendance. We had this major rain and these neighbors were like, dude, we had to go somewhere, but we came home. It's really bad out there. Like, it's really bad. And the roads were all flooded, and we were in the street, and it was like flooded up to your car door. And I had to drive through it, and the same thing happened during an ice storm. My kids' violin school, they're like, you cannot be absent, and you had to do like one absent maximum term, but you had to tell them well in advance that like it's basically like no emergency, no sick. But I'm sure if you were really really sick or you really had an emergency, your car broke down. But it was like really intimidating, and I literally, because of that, like jeopardized our safety in our vehicle for that. And I don't like that with classes with school where they're like, if you miss one day, you're gonna fail this class that costs $2,000. if you have work that's like that, volunteer positions that are like that. And volunteer position, what's hard about volunteer position is employees, they earn sick days, vacation. Of course, they get paid for that, but they earn days. And I wish we could earn days. They're like, you can't be absent, and if you're absent more than twice, you're in trouble, and you have 2 weeks to make this up. And you're like, dude, I work 7 days a week. And I set that one time at 1 day aside, and it's like I can't even stay double. Like, I considered, can I stay at the shift for 8 hours instead of 4? And I was like, the only thing I could do is keep adding 20 minutes here and there, 20 minutes here and there to my shift. And that's how I made up my absences for last year so that I can get a meal card, donation meal card. But I was like, this freaking sucks. I felt so guilty. And my son missed his Wednesday school. I thought they canceled it after the first semester, but I realized they didn't. I asked the teacher, I was like, oh shoot. I volunteered. I was like, you have 1 day a week where you want people to come at 9:30 or 10:30 in the morning. I think it's 9:30 to 11. I was like, people work, people live out of town, kids don't have rides. We can't send them on. We could send them on a 2-hour bus ride for an hour, 2-hour one way, an hour in class, and then 2 hours home. We could do that, but I don't feel comfortable with him like that over there. Like, there's been murders on that train and stuff, and there could be a murder anywhere. People could break a window and stab you, or people are shooting people on the freeways. What I had done my recap, which I'll see if I can list it. I need some water. I'm trying to tell myself to stay hydrated. My recap was basically a little bit of trying to start with what I didn't have on this piece of paper I kept showing with my messy writing, was that I'm all of this time that my income, the price of living, and I don't want to say inflation. I want to say inflation, but like, people's pay goes up, minimum wage goes up, people get self-sufficient and buy a house and lock in on a mortgage, like things like that, buy a car for cash, payments. People work themselves out of debt and poverty. I've been working myself the opposite direction, more debt, more poverty, as I've aged from a child all the way to age 41. And I felt like I can't do this anymore. This is a joke, right? Like, I always talk about my spiritual connection and how I have a higher power, and how I pray and ask God to open the right doors and close the wrong ones. And I'm like, one of the biggest pet peeves I have is what is free. And what's free is friendship. What's free is like dating or intimate partners, or asking somebody you think is your friend to pray for you, or if they can, if they have a different belief. Say I meet them in one of my recovery meetings, we could both pray or do one of the readings from the book, which I've done before. And people do the same thing when they come to a group. They will read it. They will sometimes read something that they have at home during the group, even if it's not approved. Like, you have literature that's approved that you read in the front of the room, but if you're going around the seats, sometimes people, their opinion and their book is pretty much whatever goes, right? According to rules of that specific group. And that's more detailed than you need. What's free is, if you already have a phone line, in the day you had to pay for text message if you didn't have a plan. And having someone answer or call you back, even if they say, like, I hope you're doing okay, I'm sorry, I can't talk, or I'm at work, I'm busy. Like, sometimes they're like, I can't call you back. My relatives used to say, oh, I'll call you back, and they never did. And so that's why that insanity was to believe in them, believe that they would call, believe that they would respond, and so far it's been a no-go. So I felt like in this world, very abandoned. And you stand out in the cold with two little kids, and just because I have little kids, people complain because they don't have kids and they can't they'll say, "Oh, I'm partnered," or "I'm a single dude," and I'm white. It's like I don't qualify for scholarships. They don't qualify for welfare. They don't qualify for housing, food stamps. Whether they have a full-time job, they're homeless, they don't qualify for health care, so they have to pay for health care out of pocket because their family size. I was like, hey, I see some of these guys on YouTube living in homeless camps, clean cut, dressed, full-time job, vehicle, and they can't get they can't get the income level. Sometimes it's minimum wage jobs. Sometimes it's seasonal construction and stuff. You make a lot, or like some people, they make a lot in yards and flipping, like their bosses are flipping houses, so they're doing a lot of work in the summer and the warm months, saving up money, and then they're able to live and pay rent, but they don't have much more. So if you can pay $600, $700, $800 a month, like say you can pay $1,000 a month for rent and expenses, and you want an apartment for that much. Oh, there's my friend. Peace.